welcome back to part 2 of my Can I Declutter More in My Front Room challenge. So in the last video I was telling you how I had a huge declutter after Christmas and I still thought I could declutter more. So in this video we're doing the finishing touches and a lot of toys. As it's half term, I had to get my son involved in this, and I don't like throwing stuff away without consulting the kids first anyway, so we made a game of it. He had to line up all the cars he wanted to keep, and we had an orange bag for all the cars he no longer wanted that we could donate. And he was quite ruthless, which I was very happy about. We had a full carrier bag, but yes, we did have a super long line of cars that he's keeping. But hey, he did a great job and I told him as such, and we did have a really full carrier bag, so I was really pleased with that, and he was pleased to know that they would go to somebody else who could make use of them. So that's bag 1 of the toys decluttered. I'm really happy with this because toys are the bane of my life at the moment. We are inundated with toys, and here's what he has kept. So continuing on with my son having to help me declutter, we are doing what we call his craft drawer in the front room. It always gets so full because half coloured in pictures and all sorts get thrown in here. And again, I didn't want to declutter it without him helping me. A lot of it was condensing down, like we had multiple pots of beads and multiple pots of hammer beads, and we didn't need that many, so we just condensed it down and got rid of the extra pots. Sometimes when you have a drawer like this, it's not so much that they won't use the items, it's that they don't know they're in there. So a few times he realised, oh, I forgot I had this, or I want to keep that one and see if I use it, which I'm very happy with, because you should see the pile we get rid of, and literally I'd say 99% of the pile could be recycled, which was great. We couldn't sell any of it or donate any of it. It was like used colouring books and whatnot, but yeah, it was great. The pile was huge, and he was very good at getting rid of the half coloured in pictures. Any of you with kids know that they can be quite attached to some of their drawings, even if it's just scribbles in our eyes. But he's like his mum, he likes to have a declutter and get rid of stuff. He's not too sentimental to many things, and it made this process so much easier. And I think teaching them young about too much or overconsumption and donating items to people who might actually use them is great. And if you do it from a young age, they take that forward into adulthood. This was actually the drawer I was dreading. It did take us the longest to do. I thought the cars would, but it actually took us a great deal of time to go through every little thing that was in this drawer, and there was beads spilt in the bottom, which took even longer. So here's this pile of what he's keeping, and the pile of what we're getting rid of is growing. So here's where the beads had spilt. Again, we condensed all the beads into one. This bead pile has grown because my daughter had a clear out the other day, and she just gave my son all the beads she no longer wants, or beads she'd been given from or bought in charity shop bundles. So he was very happy with that. And look at everything we got rid of. I'm so proud of him for that. And then we went on to the fancy dress drawer. I wasn't going to touch this today, but he suggested it, so I rolled with it. I knew there was stuff in here we could clear out, stuff he'd grown out of. He had some masks that he said that hurt his nose or rubbed a bit that he never used, and it was so full we had items stuck down the back, and he got his little arm in and pulled them out because I didn't even know they were in there. The pirate hat. And that was the first thing he said, I actually don't want that. So that was the first item we put in the donate pile. So here's everything out of that drawer on the floor. Just a big mess. And we set up a pile of keep and donate. So he wanted to keep the little gloves, get rid of the pirate hat, and we went with it from there. This was the mask that he really liked, but it was rubbing his face, so he never wore it. So everything that you see going into the donate pile has gone to the donation bin, the Salvation Army donation bin for clothes and linen. I could probably have sold some of the items, but then that would mean holding on to them because they'd sell better at Halloween, and for selling items for like £1 each, it's just, I don't have the time for it. And I know if you have got the time for it, that's great, but with working and stuff, I can't be in when people can collect sometimes, and unless it's good money, there's no point me doing it, and I'd rather just donate it to somebody in need or a charity. So here's the pile of donate stuff. It's quite a lot of Halloween stuff, And here's the keep, a lot of Marvel costumes. I knew we were keeping quite a bit. And here's the drawer, full, but accessible. We can actually open it now. We had a quick peek in the game drawer, but we wanted to keep everything in there. There's nothing in there we need decluttering, and it's not overly full, so we're quite happy with that. So at this point, we have a bag of donations from the last declutter, the toy cars, and the outfits. Now this box I thought was full of just stuff that he had at Christmas, and how wrong was I? There was so much more fancy dress stuff in there. I knew there was a camel costume in there, but I didn't know there was all those masks and things. I didn't film us sorting it because it was just full of tat. Like, there was just bits of tat that was no good to anybody. So we kept this as a toy box, and the toys behind the chair we are leaving. It wasn't very long ago that we sorted through them, and by this point he'd lost the motivation, and decision fatigue is real, guys. So this is everything we was actually donating. I added some soft toys to the bag for the charity shop. The orange bag was being collected by a local lady. It was full of the cars, and the other 2 bags were going to the Salvation Army bin. So as you will see, when I declutter my top drawer, my drawer, I didn't really have a lot to get rid of. It hadn't long been decluttered, it just gets messy. Everything gets thrown in there. So once I tidied it, I realised that everything in there I wanted to keep, and everything just looks nicer, doesn't it, when it's a bit tidy. I even popped my fabric in there to keep it neat and tidy and safe, and just so I knew where it was. So this was all I decluttered from that drawer. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope this video has inspired you to get decluttering. Bye!